the isolation of the battlefield from potential reinforcements. In his brief tenure on Janae, Andy had learned of the existence of 3 major transit portal arrays within 40 light-years of the planet. These were the facilities which maintained contact with the other universes the Sol-Kor operated within. There had been 4, until Andy destroyed the transit portal to the human universe. In addition, he had learned of over 90 other portal arrays, which were used to move ships between points within the Sol-Kor universe. He had no idea this type of portal even existed, but when one thought about it, it made sense. Journeying from galaxy to galaxy was still a long and arduous process, requiring dozens of years, even with the most advanced starships. Long ago, the Sol-Kor had made these journeys, and then built linking portals back to their home galaxy. Now they were able to hop around their universe with relative ease. Throughout the millennia, the Hal'ic had acquired extensive intelligence on the Sol-Kor war machine, and as Andy scanned the numbers on his first day on Janae, he felt like throwing up. The Sol-Kor numbered over 1 trillion individuals in their colony, and each one was essentially a soldier. They also had vast manufacturing centers and access to unlimited raw material from across multiple universes. But the most sobering number of all, even though it was only an educated guess, was the estimated 8 million warships the Sol-Kor had available, if they could be accessed. And that was why Andy had 50,000 of his own ships heading off to destroy the portal arrays of the Sol-Kor. If Phase 2 was successful, then the home galaxy of the Sol-Kor would be on its own against the Hal'ic forces. Unfortunately, the galaxy was also the most populated and settled by the flesh-eating aliens, with an estimated 500,000 ships available. Even then, with the impending destruction of Kor, there was a very good chance the Hal'ic could deliver a crushing blow to the colony, at least in the near term. It would take time for the Sol-Kor to organize an effective counterattack. The Hal'ic were better prepared, and now with more experienced leadership. Defeating the Sol-Kor, at least in this galaxy, was possible. Then, with time, the Hal'ic could build defenses against the inevitable arrival of other Sol-Kor forces from the isolated regions. The secondary benefit to Andy's plan of isolating the primary galaxy of the Sol-Kor was the fact that all the other segments of the colony would be cut off from their only source of repopulation, the Queen of the Sol-Kor. Given enough time, the ravenous hordes of flesh-eaters in faraway galaxies or distant universes would simply die off, with no replacements arriving from the home galaxy. If the Hal'ic could fend off reinforcements in the near term, the Sol-Kor problem would cease to exist forever. To the Hal'ic, time was on their side. Their race had been one of the first to be harvested by the Sol-Kor after the invaders departed their homeworld in search of new crops on distant worlds. That was 5,000 years ago, and during all that time, the survivors of that first harvest had gone on to build a thriving and technologically superior civilization beneath the ruins of their once great cities. And for all that time, the Hal'ic had planned for this very moment, designing and building weapons of war to be used against the evil Sol-Kor horde. Even so, their moment of destiny had been thrust upon them unexpectedly only 2 months before, when word was received that the eternal queen of the Sol-Kor was dead, having been assassinated by none other than Adam Cain and Riyadh Tarazi. That was great news. But add to that, all the queen's potential successors had also been killed. The Hal'ic saw this as the opportunity they'd been waiting for. Ancient battle plans were dusted off and strategies set in motion. And that was when the Hal'ic scribes decided they needed experienced and seasoned leadership to pull off such a major undertaking. All the native warriors had been trained by simulator, without a single live battle to their credit. After learning that one of the Queen's assassins had been captured by the Sol-Kor, the Hal'ic rescued Adam Cain and brought the human to Janae, placing him in charge of their massive fleet, until Admiral Andy Tobias had been unceremoniously and unexpectedly sucked into the Sol-Kor universe. At that point, Adam deferred to the Admiral's superior skill and experience, and within minutes of his arrival on the Hal'ic homeworld, Andy